Hello, everybody. So this is the first time I'm actually sharing my screen with people. So I'm not totally sure how this is going to work out, but I wanted to give all of you an opportunity to watch a webinar that I have been presenting to some of my prospective clients over the last month or so on what you need to know before you conceive. And this whole idea came to me as a result of working with clients for 10 years, fertility patients primarily. And what I was noticing was by the time they came to my office and sought out acupuncture treatments, many of them were in the midst of trying to conceive on their own, either on their own or had sought out medical treatment and had been going through the process for many, many months or even years. And either a nurse or one of their friends said, "Why don't you try acupuncture?" And I noticed this trend of women, by the time they came to the acupuncturist's office, they were beside themselves. They were exhausted, they were frazzled, they were defeated, they were so stressed out, they weren't sleeping. And as a result of all this stress, that resulted in them maybe not making the best lifestyle choices. Maybe their diet was not very good. Perhaps they were not exercising, and they were just kind of being taken over by the whole process. And what I've realized is that women and couples in general, but women in particular, were not receiving the support that they deserved when they were trying to conceive. So what I would like to do is dismantle this whole process of stress and anxiety and depression and worry about having a miscarriage, or God forbid if you've been through a miscarriage or a few miscarriages before, that you have the tools to go through this process. And there's no guarantee of anything really, but if you have the opportunity to go through the process with grace, maybe have less stress, less anxiety, feed yourself better, feed your mind, body, and spirit better, why not do it? So hence was the birth of this webinar. So thank you all for joining, and welcome to my webinar, What You Need to Know Before You Conceive. Bear with me here. Okay, so I'd like to ask this question. Is this you? You're a busy professional or business owner who wants to conceive in 6 to 12 months. You've been trying to conceive and feel stressed, anxious, or worried about the future. And you have a little knowledge or no idea of what it means to prepare for pregnancy ahead of time. So if this sounds like you, basically you're a busy working woman, maybe you have your own business, you're juggling many, many things. You're on the go all the time. You're at meetings, you're traveling for your company, and you just feel like you have very little time for yourself. So what I'm trying to do is, if you identify with that person in the previous slide, the solution is preparedness of the mind, body, and spirit. And what does that mean exactly? So you can prepare yourself for, and this applies to fertility in this case, but really for any situation that involves you being extremely stressed and stretched in any situation. The idea is to go into the situation with a mindset of kind of like a, resiliency, like a mindset of resiliency. So you are preparing for fertility by meditation, yoga, and daily rituals. And you are employing certain tools for stress management ahead of time. so that when if you're going to go into a stressful situation, you will know how to better handle these situations. Another solution is enjoying your life, making sure you incorporate fun and laughter into your everyday life. So by being prepared, how does this affect you? Body, mind, and spirit are healthy and ready for all outcomes. Healthy body equals better blood flow to the uterus, healthier cervical mucus, hormones balanced, etc. Less backtracking. You are empowered and you can be your own advocate. And you have the tools and the inner awareness to navigate through a stressful day with more ease. You are rested, more aligned with yourself, and have the energy to make a baby. Isn't that amazing? So when you think about the human body, and when it is in a stressed out state, it is basically devoting a very large majority of its energy to surviving, right? Fight or flight mode. So in other words, there's no time for the body to focus on blood flow to the uterus, or maybe the blood flow to the uterus will be less than it normally would if it was a healthy body. So energetically, not only energetically of the body, but also the mind and the spirit too. If you're exhausted all the time, if you're feeling defeated all the time, energetically is not an ideal time to make a baby. So I have a couple of actual case studies of patients that I've worked with in the past. One of them I had a few years ago. She was 29 years old at the time, and she had a history of amenorrhea, so no period for several years. And she came in initially just to regulate her menstrual cycle because she found it kind of disheartening. She was on birth control pills for many years, and when she went off birth control pills, she didn't have a period. So she started acupuncture with the goal of getting her period back, and then I think it was within 3 months, she started to get her period again. It may have even been less than that, but no more than 3 months. And then she was newlywed, and her husband and she decided that it was time to conceive. They wanted to start a family. So I think she started seeing me in August or September. And then by the following fall, she had given birth to her first child. So the process went pretty well for her. She did